Alright, well I tried to film this video earlier and apparently the audio got out of sync, so we're going to be trying this again. Welcome everybody, so I am back and doing a brand new YouTube video, and this is going to be on the equipment and gear that you need to sort of get started on YouTube. So when I first started out, I had no idea kind of what you needed as a YouTube content creator. I didn't know the sort of basics on how to get started on YouTube. I kind of just learned this thing on the seat of my pants like a lot of people, and was constantly looking up videos on how to make my sort of gear better as well as make my videos look a little bit better. So this is going to be a video for you people that want to start out doing videos, kind of like what I'm doing with my green screen stuff and doing movie reviews and things like that. So this is going to be the video for you. So first things first, what you're going to want to get is a computer, mostly one with an i5 or an i7 processor and at least 8 gigabytes of RAM, if not more if you're doing a PC. Whereas, you know, the Macs and the MacBook Pros are a little bit constrained 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is kind of stupid, but you know, they're pre-built computers, so you kind of expect that. This just helps out with content storage and while you're editing and stuff and rendering and things like that. If you have a higher processor, you're going to be able to churn out a lot of video content, especially for your channel, and it definitely does help when storing content in folders and things like that. That doesn't clog up your computer as much when you have that higher processor. So that is why I recommend a computer with at least i5 or an i7 processor and 8 gigabytes of RAM. You're going to want to have video editing software, preferably that of Adobe Premiere or Adobe After Effects, just because it helps you cut down your videos and stuff, including, you know, help you do like effects and stuff like that, which I definitely do with my green screen and stuff. It might take a little bit of practice to kind of get used to learning these softwares and tools and stuff, but once you learn it, it's pretty easy when you've done a bunch of videos and stuff like that. So that is why I recommend that software. Also because, you know, if you're using it for filmmaking and stuff, you know, a lot of movie studios will take you seriously if you're using Adobe Premiere and After Effects, because, you know, that's what they're starting to use a lot more now in Hollywood. They're also using Avid, which is another, you know, video editing software, but that costs a little bit more money. So if you're looking into sort of a cheaper way of doing videos and stuff, you can look into the yearly and the monthly packages that Adobe does provide. There's also things like Camtasia, which allows you to edit videos as well, and not only that, allows you to screen record your software. So things like Mr. Technical Difficult, where he does sort of his Omegle videos and stuff like he did in the past, that was how he's able to do that with a screen recording software and stuff like that. And he was able to edit and sort of do different things with it in sort of After Effects and Adobe Premiere. And I also have that, and I use that to kind of do sort of my tutorial videos, or if I want to sort of react to a channel or something like that, or if I want to react to sort of a video, then I'll kind of turn that on and I can do a split screen and stuff like that with video on one side and my sort of face cam footage on the other side. I can also export footage in Camtasia, which is really great. So when I'm doing videos such as this, I can just export in Camtasia and then edit my videos later in Adobe Premiere, which is great. So that is why I recommend those video editing softwares. You're going to want to have a really good camera. Nothing worse than having really good audio and having a shitty camera to boot. So what you're going to need to get is a Logitech C920 web camera, which I have two of them, one on my left monitor and one on my right monitor, which are kind of next to each other right now. It definitely helps when you're doing gaming videos and stuff like that. So if you want to do split screen where you're playing a game and, you know, sort of have video of you playing the game on one side and having video of the game on one side with, you know, Elgato or something like that with your capture card, kind of helps with that as well. You can do live streams and stuff with these cameras and stuff. They're really, really good quality, and they definitely have some good sound quality to them. Not perfect by any means, but the video is worth it more than sort of the audio for that factor. And so these usually range from like $60 to $70 depending on where you buy them. You can pick them up at like Best Buy, Target. I think you can pick them up at Walmart, but I don't really recommend Walmart for picking up sort of cameras and stuff like that. So I suggest going there, and it should be pretty easy for you to find sort of a Logitech C920 camera. You can also get them from Amazon as well. So if you don't have like sort of a retail store nearby you, you can definitely pick them up that way. You're gonna want to have a really good microphone. So like the one that I have here with my Blue Yeti, the one that I started out later on using, I used a Blue Snowball microphone like most YouTubers, and then I gradually went from a Blue Snowball to a Blue Yeti. And both of these sort of microphones are really, really good in sort of their audio quality, and they have, you know, gain on it, so you can kind of change the gain and make your video sound a little bit better, or turn up the gain to make your video sound a little bit more pitched and stuff when you're editing, so it makes you be able to cut in the ahs and ums of your videos and stuff like that. So, you know, overall, there's nothing worse than having a really good video, like I said before, and then having, you know, shitty audio. Like those two kind of go hand in hand. So if you really want a really good YouTube channel, you're gonna want to look at getting a camera as well as a microphone, and that is why I recommend the Blue Yeti and the Blue Snowball microphones for you, just because they're pretty much cheap, budget friendly microphones. The Blue Yeti is actually $130, I think, but they're definitely worth the amount of money that you're gonna spend for that. All right, so I've covered the computer, the microphones, and the video editing software, and the camera. Now we're gonna talk about sort of the external hard drive. Now I recommend that you get sort of a lacy rugged external hard drive. If you're gonna have a lot of content, you're gonna want to have to back it up at some point. So getting a lacy rugged portable external hard drive is definitely gonna be something that you should definitely look into getting. It's something that's easy to set up. You just plug it into a USB port, and then you just back up all your files from there, and you're pretty much good to go. You can store Word files, you can store video files, pretty much anything you can store in there if you so want to. So that is why I recommend that. I wouldn't recommend editing off of an external hard drive, but if you have to, it's definitely something that you can choose to do if if you have to do it for a specific reason. If you're going to want to move, files from one computer to the next, an external hard drive is definitely one to consider for that option. So if you want to do green screen footage, sort of like the stuff that I'm doing right now, and on my gaming channel and things like that, you want to pick up a green screen. Now, Elgato does have their own green screen. They have a $130 green screen, or I think it's $140. I don't know. I'd have to check that online, but it's around $100, and it's a portable green screen, and you can collapse it and pretty much bring it around with you wherever you want to go. Really handy if you're doing sort of videos other than just in your office or something like that, or in sort of a room dedicated to video editing content. You can bring it pretty much with you wherever you go. Otherwise, I have a $50 green screen which I got from Amazon, and it's a green screen and blue screen combo, and it's pretty big, it's pretty large, and it does pretty much everything that I need to for this channel, especially with my gaming content and my movie reviews, which I use a lot of my green screen on as well now lately, just because it kind of provides that sort of different style to your videos that other YouTubers don't have. So that's why I recommend getting sort of that sort of green screen, just because it's cheap and affordable. If you're going to be doing green screen work, you're going to want to have studio softbox lights, preferably Limo Studios, which is also pretty cheap to get, and you can pretty much purchase those on either B&H Photo Video or Amazon. But those are sort of the equipment and the gear that I kind of recommend that you get for starting out on YouTube. If you want to do fancy stuff like the green screen stuff, that is why I suggest those Limo Studios softbox lights that work really, really well. Super bright, last really, really long, and they don't burn out over time like most studio softbox lights. I've had these for a few years now, and I've pretty much used them for all my YouTube videos. And this green screen and blue screen combo pack really does work, because if I don't want to use green screen, I can flip it around and use blue screen, and it's only $50. So, and I can also fold it up into sort of collapse it and put it back into a carrying case that they have for it. But I just usually leave it up on a stand, just because of the fact that I use it constantly, and I don't really feel like collapsing it and then putting it into the carrying case and stuff like that and bringing it around with me constantly. I just feel like it's just kind of useless to kind of keep doing that for every single shot, so I just pretty much leave it up. But for you, it might be easier just to collapse it and then put it into the carrying case and then pack it and stuff. It's really easy, simple. So that is the equipment and gear, like I said before, that I recommend for you how to get started on YouTube. I know that's a lot to cover and a lot to sort of acquire, but once you acquire all that gear and equipment, you're pretty much set to go and doing the similar stuff that I do with my YouTube channel and stuff. So hopefully that helps you guys out, learning a thing or two about sort of the editing software that I use and the gear and stuff that I use for the channel. So as always, guys, like, rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.